Hi, welcome to my office. What we tried to do is create a living room environment because most people who we see are sick and tired of doctors' offices. They are been to hospitals and all kinds of specialists and so forth. And so what we've tried to do is create an environment which is unlike any doctor's office they've probably ever been into. And we only schedule one patient at a time. We schedule a minimum time for each patient of an hour. And a new patient is usually 2 hours to 2.5 hours. But they've got a peaceful place in which to land. All of the paperwork that they receive via email before they come in, so all their paperwork is completed. And we're all aware of their name, so the moment they arrive, we're able to use their name in their first contact, and they don't have to wait in line, and they don't have to sit in the waiting room with a whole bunch of other people. So come on back. Let's see where they would go first off. And what I like to do with a patient is I like to get an idea of what's going on with their problem, what they've done in the past, do the consult and so forth, and welcome to my office. So they're sitting here in an environment of again, peacefulness, we hope. And we have a beautiful view out here of La Jolla. And we have a large screen television on which we can put their labs. And here we'll sit and get to know one another. It's a partnership between the patient and the doctor that we're after and that we're working to achieve so that they can feel comfortable with us and we can feel comfortable with them, and we can see whether or not they're going to be a patient of ours that we're going to be able to help. So from this room, what we'll do is we'll go over to exam 1. And exam 1, I have an assistant with me in all my contact with the patient. In this room, exam 1, we'll have the patient make themselves comfortable. Here, I have all the various items that I use to check the patient, accessible, immediately available to them, so I don't have to leave the room for everything that I get. All of our information is on an iPad, and the iPad is on airplane, so there's no electronics that are going to be affecting the patient. We can look up all of our items. I have an assistant who's here with me and who types out all the chart notes that we do during the visit. Everything that I say that's pertinent to the patient will either go into their subjective, their findings, their treatment, their plan, or if I have an additional item on plan, what am I suspecting, what do I want to rule out, what tests do I want to do, that all goes into typed notes which are emailed to the patient at the end of each visit. We have a large screen television in here as well, and we use that to display everything dealing with the patient and the patient's notes as we're going through them, all the tests that we do, and we, in our use of Zyto, we have it wired in such a manner as the patient can remain here in the comfort of this exam chair, and they'll be able to see everything that we're going to do on the large screen. We have, for the purpose of this tour, we have the overhead lights on, but we don't ever turn those on because of the radio frequencies created from fluorescent lights. We have all incandescent bulbs and so forth in the room. We have additional test items here to help us because I do an exam of the patient, and in that exam we're using heart rate variability, we're using bioimpedance, we're using Zyto, we're using breathing volumes, we're using pulse oximeters for oxygenation testing, we're doing a lot of acupuncture point testing and vial tests using muscle testing as well. So we kind of integrate all of those items into our exam as well as ordering laboratory tests. So what we do at the end of our new patient visit is we'll have a list of tests, whether or not they're blood tests or saliva tests, or urine tests, whether or not they're challenge tests of one kind or another. and we will send those off, and when those come back is when we schedule our second visit to go through our lab work, to recheck several of the items we had done on the first visit, and in that way being sure that we are covering everything that is wrong with the patient and that it wasn't an accidental finding on that one day, but it's a finding that can be repeated on another visit. Many times people who are chronically ill not only have the illness problem to deal with, but they have the emotional luggage of the illness that they've had for some time, going to doctor to doctor to doctor and not finding a result or a treatment or even anybody that understands them. So EVOX becomes a big part of what we do with patients. And in our use of EVOX, we do a heart rate variability monitoring test looking at sympathetic parasympathetics before the EVOX, and then we do one after the EVOX. So we do heart rate variability in exam 1. We can also do heart rate variability in exam 2. And in this room, we have several computers set up, and we have EVOX on both. So basically what happens is the patient will receive the heart rate variability testing in this room, then they'll set up and be on the EVOX. We have windows that we can actually observe their performance in during the testing and so forth, and during the use of the EVOX, and then we will repeat the heart rate variability and go through it again with the patient as well. So at the end of the first visit, what we do is we have a couple business offices, and this business office here is Joy's in her business office doing some work right now, actually doing some scheduling with patients, and she will meet with the new patient after the initial visit. She will send them an email from my email account so that they have connection directly to me in a patient doctor HIPAA compliant email to where I can then take every email that I have from a patient and put it into their file. All of the tests that come in go to that email as well because they're all received electronically. They're duplicated into our paper file, but they're held in an electronic file as well. So they will meet here at the end of the first visit with Joy. She will schedule them for their next visit. She will go through all the laboratory testing that's going to be done. She'll supply the test kits that they will need to complete these tests. She will be the point of contact for all the activity that occur between the patient and our office, dealing with labs and appointments and the financial ends of things. And so we have a comfortable place for them to sit and do that as well. Our business manager, Rhonda, occupies this office here, and if there's other special questions on an economic basis, this is where they would be handled here. Special arrangements that may need to be made would be made with Rhonda, and she also she handles the business end of our office, so to speak. And then one other area of our office it's I think really nice that we like is our remote areas, and we deal with a number of doctors' offices, and so we have a remote work area here. In our prior office we had 2 computers that operated here, and we use this other space as just kind of a general work area. But when a new patient finishes up on the first visit after they spend some time with Joy, they'll sit here at this computer, and one of my staff will show them how to get onto our patient website. And we have a dedicated pass-coded account just for patients to go on, read all the material about illness, read all the material about recovery. It has about 40-some different YouTube videos on it, some links to other websites that we feel have useful information, and they can order all of our products online here, and all of our products are then shipped from our shipping department, which is occupied here, and we have an individual that runs all of our shipping and handles all of our coordination with all of our products and so forth. And so consequently, that's pretty much the tour of the office.